That's okay. We'll just
All
leave.
right. Good morning, everyone, and afternoon, depending on what time zone you're in. This is Kai Deering, and this is our 30th episode of On the Fly with Kai. That's crazy. Where we come to you every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, all time zones in between, and we give you tips, tricks, and hacks for entrepreneurs, whether you're already an entrepreneur, want to be one, etc. And today, I'm super excited to bring to the show a new friend of mine that I've actually met virtually networking on the other side of the coast, all the way in Connecticut, Miss Shirley Zaccheo, and I think I said that correctly this time. Yay. And I'm
Yay.
just so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. And I
Thank
love the
you.
fact that I heard you speak, and I was like, oh wow. And when I hear image consultant, I think, like we talked about, the Color Me Beautiful from the 80s and 90s. And then I thought, wow, you really had an interesting spin on it for the importance of how color and branding and what it means and your color story. So I have so many questions to ask you. I don't even know where to begin, but I'd love to know, first of all, tell the viewers, what is the color story? I'd love to know what that is first.
Well, a color story, especially for entrepreneurs, is taking your message of what your business is, your service, your product, right? Because there's always packaging involved in that. There's always a reason why you chose that business or your service. And then the color story is associating those colors with your brand. So a lot of times you'll see the health industry or the spa industry, you'll see those nice refreshing shades of green or the calming shades of blue. Green is growth, but it can also go into the financial aspect. I'm sure a lot of your viewers who are in the financial world, there's always some shade of green because it's money. So your color story is, what is your message with your service, your product, your business that you're offering tied to those colors? What's going to pull me in? So that's really what a color story is.
And I know you had an interesting progression. So we're going to now back up, because I really was dying to know you with the color stories. So we're going to back up and say you went from stay-at-home mom to, kind of side hustle, dabbling, to really making a full-time career over the last, 2 decades with this. Tell folks that are maybe, struggling with how to do that, from mom to entrepreneur-ish to like career woman in your business. It was incredible.
Yeah, it is actually, it's always a journey. The side hustle or the reinvention of ourselves is always a journey. And mine was, like you said, at times I was a stay-at-home mom. I was fortunate to, at the time when every time I had a child, I could leave the workforce and I could stay home for longer extended times because my spouse, could afford that we could do that. So it was a beautiful thing in being able to raise my kids. And then as I re-entered the job force in different ways, when I was really working retail and really working next to young persons, in high school, wanting to further their careers, they were like, Shirley, I'm learning more standing next to you than I am in my careers class. And
Wow.
That was kind of where the nuggets were kind of planted. It's like, because I did it when I needed to go from a single mom. So my divorce, when I went from a single mom, I was working fast food management, making, okay, here we go, dating myself, $5.25 an hour, not being able to really raise a child. And that was management, by the way. So when I needed to say I needed a career, I was a soccer player, I was a single mom, I was fast food, my hair was always in a ponytail. So when I needed that career shift, I said, okay, it's time. I learned to do my hair a little bit better. I learned to do my makeup a little bit better. And then I learned how to get dressed for this banking career that I ended up having. And that evolution of how to dress for the role. Now I was dressing for the role of a professional person. And so taking that nugget with me as well. And then one of my first jobs back in San Diego when I was 17 was working for a photography studio. And, I remember clearly the day that the woman that came in for her headshots, because a lot of people wanted to be actors and actresses in San Diego. And I said, you look really nice today. And she's like, her shoulders went up and her, very proud. She's like, I had my colors done. I was 17, Kai. I didn't know what the heck she was talking about. But that seed at 17, fast forwarded to when I decided to look into what this image consulting was, because I really didn't even know what that was like, boom, there's another seed. This is actually something that I can help people with because I did it. And here's entire industry of people who are consultants helping others. And that's how I started to put that all together. And it was a journey for over 18 years of doing it really as a hobby, having that, direct sales little hobby on the side and keeping my business. But it evolved into something that, I really wanted to teach young people in the school systems how to interview, how to shake hands, how to really present themselves. Because if you started it younger than waiting till I was 30 something to figure it all out, then you're teach them how to fish and they'll catch that fish for the rest of their life.
So you've made me think of so many, I'm taking notes here of questions I want to ask you. And the folks that are watching live can actually ask questions too. We can see them, which is really slick. But, there's been a lot of changes we talked about that, from, I had a financial background, my first job out of college. And like you said, no, this would never fly. You had to wear nylons, closed-toed shoes, no lace, to really now I go in the bank and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're wearing like golf shirts and stuff.
I know.
So how, and then we talked about tattoos and body piercings and just and then now we've all worked from home and got a lot more casual. How have you been able to adjust to help the entrepreneur now versus 20 years ago? Because that landscape's completely changed. How does it look different?
It's absolutely completely different. So what I always base my image consulting around is to be authentically you. And you have to define that. Are you more in the business casual realm? Are you dealing with, you may be the business casual person, you may be the concert t-shirt jean wearing person, but who is your end user? Do you need to elevate your style just a bit, not every day? You're meeting with a high-powered client. So yes, you have to have that capsule of clothing that says, I am worthy of standing in your space. So there might be a couple of suits in your closet. There might be a couple of outfits that are more business casual. There might be the times where, you're networking on the golf course, or wherever, or going to a business luncheon. But to be authentically you at all times. So you have to define what that looks like. Who's your end user? And, if you're a yoga instructor, then why are you wearing a suit? Athleisure wears come a long way. So let's get you an outfit that still says, here I am to do business with, but I'm also representing my space. So does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally. And I think that it's just gotten really interesting. And I know you were mentioning a little bit, like sometimes for women, it's hard because we feel like, oh, we're going to be vain if we, really care and do this and that. And so you talked about this myth of vanity, especially now because, you are your brand, and whether you work for a company, like I work for a big company, but I am my own brand. And that's really been so prevalent with social media. Speak a little bit about, don't worry about being vain. This is, the world is selfies, right? I mean, geez.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not, it truly, taking care of yourself or looking your best for the situation is not about vanity. Yes, there is sometimes that fine line where we can all take it to the next level, but there's the power that you give yourself every morning, as an entrepreneur. And let's just take it from the female side, but as a female entrepreneur, or however you identify yourself, you're either a partner, you're an entrepreneur, or you work for a business. You may be a mom, you may be a spouse, you may be all these different roles that you're constantly giving a piece of yourself to every single day, right? Because you're going to get up, you're going to work the hustle, you're going to go to the job, you're going to go land that new client, whatever that looks like. So why not start your day giving that piece to yourself, that energy, your best looking outfit? Because we all know when we look really good, we feel really good. So why not taking that energy and that respect for yourself in the first 5 minutes of the day? Because guess what? You get to take that energy with you. You get to take those colors with you. And now you're giving it back to everybody else. And then it's reciprocity. You gave it to yourself. Now you're able to give it to others. So and it's so powerful because it truly may be the only 5 minutes that you get to have to yourself when you're wearing all those 50 hats. Because I know I did them all. There was a time when I had 2 regular jobs, and then the hustle on the side. I was going to every event that I possibly could squeeze time into. Then I was going to all of my kids' events because I made sure that I worked retail and banking during the day so that I could be with the kids at the night. So there was never really a lot of time. And then I was a dance mom, soccer mom, football mom, fencing mom, swim mom. I did them all. So I was in the car 24/7, dropping off, picking up, woo woo, cheering them on. So where was my time? And that's when I really backed up and said, it's my turn. And I really truly remember it was right after my son, he's going to be 20. It was 19 years ago. And I said, it's my turn and I'm going to give this all back to me. And I got rid of the sweats, got rid of the ponytail, and I got dressed every day. And guess what? Now my kids know the value of representing themselves authentically in public.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because like you said, you come last in all of that, right?
Right.
There's no room anymore for you. So I'm so glad. And, for the folks that have smaller kids, right? Because your kids are grown for the most part now, and now you can have this career. What are some tips that you can give them to make sure that they still put themselves first, but still can do that and still look good and wear the sweats and all that, you know what I mean? And be ready for a side hustle and a FaceTime call real quick. How does that, what advice would you give them right now?
In the long and the short of it, when they're small, I think if they're just, I have to think about you. As long as you're open and honest with the kids at the same time as saying, okay, it's mommy's 5 minutes, or it's right now it's mommy's time or mom's time or whatever that looks like, to say, I've got to do this. And then I get to spend time with you. My kids, they all know, very young. My daughter, who you just heard me take a phone call before we went live, 32 years old. She was 8 weeks old, sitting on my lap when I first went into direct sales that long ago, because I was told that I could bring her with me. And so they've all evolved through my careers, and they knew how hard I was hustling for them, because I also didn't miss any of those activities. So as long as you structure those times, and that's really hard for a mom because things are on the fly, and even dads, there's more stay-at-home dads that are taking those roles. So whatever that parental, package looks like for you, they always knew that I was going to be there for them, but they were also a part of those businesses. They helped me pack orders. They helped me get the stuff in the car. They helped me go to events and set up the tables, because at the long and the short of it, it was for the family unit. If I was successful, then I felt happier, and that I was able to give them, some of the things that they wanted, or some of the things that they needed. So it was always a part of, this is what our family dynamic looks like. So as long as you define with your family at the same time what that's going to look like, they'll come along for the journey. And then they'll see that they, we also see all these young entrepreneurs that are making a difference with lemonade stands and pajama giveaways and backpacks. So they get the entrepreneurial spirit from you too, and they may just land on something that's going to change the world. So you're always giving a piece of that, and as long as you bring them along for the journey, it'll be a good thing.
I love it. So include them in there. And you said something interesting, what I want to go back to when you talked about, it's just energy, right? And you talked something about color energy. And so let's go back to the color piece. How is that? Because I love that you're including your kids and all that good stuff. What do you mean when you say color energy?
All colors. Okay. So, the simple science of it, when I do my presentations, I go, the simple science of it is the sun gives us energy, right? If we close your eyes, you all of a sudden have no color, no light, no whatever. So the sun gives us the daily energy. It comes down to earth, and it gives us all kinds of, good healing vibes and whatnot, as long as you don't obviously overexpose yourself to sun, because we want you guys to be healthy and safe out there. So colors also have those associations tied to them. I'm wearing green. It's a great one. It's a great color on film. For those of you who are doing a lot of virtuals, it plays well on film. But it also is, again,
except for green screens.
The truth. Okay, you would know that. Okay, perfect. But it's in general, it's a really good color for screens, or blue. But those colors also have their own energy. They have their own, we all have an association with yellow. I always say that nobody can be unhappy when they see the color yellow, unless you really don't like yellow. People are tied to colors. They have vivid memories when they have seen a color. There's a famous yoga story that the yoga creator of this style doesn't like green in his studios because there was a traumatic event in his life. So every time he sees green, he remembers that. So we are tied to these stories and those energies. Blue is calming, white is purity, purple is royalty. And so those energies come with you. And then I know I'm wearing this green top, but I'm always looking out and I'm looking at you. So you're receiving this color energy. You're receiving, oh, that shirt looks really good, or I love that color. Again, it just keeps going round and round and round of what we're giving back. So that's what I mean by color energy. And wearing your best colors. When you look good, you feel good. So there's that energy again, right? And we're always looking to look our best or healthier in our skin tone. So wearing the right colors will help you have that on your skin tone as well. So when you're wearing colors that take that away, you may have walked up to a friend and said, are you feeling okay? She may be feeling fine, but maybe it was the color that was draining, some of the life from her. So that's what color energy can do for you.
Well, then it was funny. I was wearing yellow yesterday. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because I was wearing this yellow shirt yesterday, and I was like, I only have one thing I own that's yellow. I should have a lot more yellow. I really like yellow. Yeah. So it is that energy where you're like, oh, wow, I could do that. So I really appreciate that too. And we talked about, like, you educated me, because I'm like, I remember I said to you, so I don't know how an image consultant's going to work for my show, because it's, all about, tips, tricks, and hacks for entrepreneurs. And then you made me understand the importance of your color story as an entrepreneur, and how maybe your signature color can tie into your brand, your logo. And I think I was doing it sort of instinctually, like we talked about, because I'm mimicking some of the colors of my company I work for. But maybe you could address that a little bit, because I thought that was a really interesting take on it. And I was like, oh yeah, you need to be on the show. This is great.
Yeah. So if you take my logo, when it was created, it's a color fan, because what I create for my clients is a color fan, right, of all of their best colors. So when I worked with my graphic designer, she came up with this great thing about the thing, but the background was more of this beautiful softer shade of a royal blue, because I wanted to make sure that I was calming you but exciting you at the same time, because the colors of the fan were going to excite you and get you interested about what color analysis is, and then the blues were going to be received well by both men and women, or however you identify. So that was a color conscious move, because I wanted to represent what I did, and I wanted to represent my end user. So everybody loves blue. It's the most universal color that everybody can relate to. So again, when I was talking to one of our networkers up in Canada, and she's like, I'm looking to start this business, and it's all about parents who have special needs children and the journey. And I said, well, tell me what that looks like. And her entire story was screaming joy. Like, everything that she was doing was telling me joy. So the joyful colors, you have yellow, you have orange, you have red. And then I said, what are some of the favorite colors of your family? Because if this is going to be your business model based on your journey with your son, then what is his favorite color? So there's your color story, incorporating colors of your message, but don't forget what some of those color associations are. Again, like we talked about, green for financial and health renewal. And, if you look at some of the bigger, I'll give you an example. All three of the fast food and big ones, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, they all have red, yellow, and blue, and a touch of white in them. Yellow is to excite you. Red is an aggravator or an intensifier for hunger. Blue is to calm you down a little bit, because back when we could take the kids inside to the play gym, we wanted you happy, we wanted you excited, we wanted you, look at Ronald McDonald's outfit, it's orange, red, and white. I mean, they want the kids excited when they see that association, right? But then there's a little touch of blue in there, because we want to calm you just down a little bit, and there's no blue food naturally occurring in nature. So all three of them have those four colors in their logos, and that's the association with that. So find out what your your message is, and then find the colors that sing to you. But if you don't like yellow, then you're not going to want yellow in your logo. You know what I mean?
Wow. So, okay. Yeah. So I love it. Jeannie is a dear friend I met networking as well. And she said, I feel very different when I wear certain colors. Vibrant colors make me feel vibrant. So thank you so much for sharing that. There's always some things about public speaking, right? So people say, don't wear red when you're public speaking. What are some, because many, like Jeannie just made me think of that. She does a lot of public speaking. We all do. what are some great tips on color and speaking virtually and live?
Yeah, absolutely. So red, as I mentioned, is an aggravator. So for interviews, for whatever that type of interview, job or virtual, for speaking engagements, red is going to naturally increase the blood pressure of the other person receiving it. It may be a fantastic color for you, but long term, that other person is going to get just a tad aggravated. So you may be wanting to just maybe wear it as a pin, or a pin tie, or just a pocket handkerchief, or incorporate it into a small pattern, right? Especially if you're speaking long term. If it's a quick hit and run, if it's maybe just a spot speaker for 5 or 10 minutes, I could see that, but I definitely wouldn't do it all red. That's pretty powerful. Again, finding your signature colors. So you'll always have that closet full of those colors that really sing to you. So again, green is a good color for me. Different shades of purple and plums play well together. And blue is always, again, it's a universal color for males or females, to be calming and to have them be received. When I speak, I usually don't have my nails polished very loud because I'm Italian. So it's like this, I'm flagging planes in when I'm talking, so I don't like a lot of attention. I don't usually wear shaky earrings because then your message is getting lost. So I kind of keep it very simple, something that's just not going to blow up your message. You want them to be focused on you. A lot of times the best way to do it is to do a uniformed color. If I wear chocolate brown, my hair is in that tone. So when I wear chocolate brown, it's like harmonizing all the way down. So you're just focusing on my message and my face because I'm coming to you with that. And there's not a lot of contrasting colors all the way down. So you don't want to create a lot of contrast in your outfit when you're trying to get that message across. Now, if you're going in to close the deal and you want to say, here I am, then by all means, don't wear the full out power suit of the 90s in red, but definitely have a little punch in there. Honor the field that you're in, and that will give the message a little bit more punch.
Yeah, it's interesting too. And in business and entrepreneurship, there is this, and I think Steve Jobs kind of did it first, then Mark Zuckerberg, it's this uniform where, how do you feel about that? Like, I think I would get so bored, just the uniform, but Mel Robbins does it. She's always got the fluffy skirt with the tennies and so how do you feel about that? So I've always wanted to ask somebody that. So this is perfect.
Yeah, I actually use that example in my presentations. Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Vera Wang, Renata Brigman. Yeah, absolutely. And it's uniforming can be for the person that really truly doesn't want to spend the brain width. I don't call it bandwidth. I call it brain width to say, oh my God, what am I going to wear today? So if it's simple, it could just be a simple white button down shirt and a pair of khakis. And then you could blazer, or you could put a necklace or a scarf, but the base is always the same, so that when you get up that it's easy. So a lot of people like the easeability of uniforming, and then again, their message is way more important. Steve Jobs was clearly about the message of what Apple could give to the masses, and same with Zuckerberg. I joke that I would love to be able to open his closets and see 50 gray t-shirts in his closet. I know, right? But I would just love to be able to just open the curtains and look in there. But it offers the person who may not feel like they're fashion savvy, or they're learning how to build the easeability of having that uniform style. And then it really is all about the work and all about the message. So that's uniforming works for certain people. It definitely started to be easy for a lot of us who ended up in the past 16 months having to work from home. You can definitely see articles and interviews out there of the person who wore the exact same shirt to every single Zoom meeting in her company, and nobody was the wiser. So, yeah, exactly. I thought that was.
You think people care, but maybe they don't. You know what I mean?
They really don't. I have clients, because I work I also run a consignment shop, and I have clients going, I don't like to show my arms. I go, baby girl, nobody's looking. Everybody's got issues right now. They're really not. So, yeah. So there's
value. I think I would be bored to tears if I had to wear the same thing every day. Like, I like expression and things like that. But let me ask you a question about black, because I'm wearing black. Yeah. And I think that's just such an easy go-to color. It makes you look thinner and this and that. What are your thoughts on black on Zoom, on stage, just in general?
Well, black is probably what I like to say one of the most powerful and misconstrued colors, because it can also go to the negative, it can go to the mourning, it can go to the depression, it can go to the wrong side of somebody being strong, maybe over strong, but it also is elegant and graceful, and it has demonstration and strength as well. So when I work with my clients who black may not be the best color to their face up, because black can also drain color from your face. And when we're talking about, this is all you see right now, you can barely see this green shirt, right? You're seeing here. So if the black is taking away, then I teach my clients how to break it up with jewelry or a scarf or a pin or other ways to incorporate that color. So black it has its place, but when you see somebody maybe shifting from a vibrant personality to wearing black a lot, psychologically, you could say, ask your friend how she's doing. There may be something else going on there. So there's a lot of messaging in terms of color and what we choose to wear as well. It is a safe color. On Zoom, it can be a very heavy color, but it can also, depending on what your background is. So if you're doing a lot more Zooms, I say look at the big picture, look behind you and look to see what's playing off of that. Because if it's really dark in the background and then you're wearing black on top of that, you kind of almost look like a bobblehead. So there's ways to incorporate black into your wardrobe and into your virtual world as well. So just find out if it's one of your power colors. If it's not, change to navy blue. Navy blue, again, is equally as powerful and soothing and really does well virtually. And it actually gives a little bit more warmth to the skin tone than black.
That's interesting, because I look in my closet, and I had, paid to have all that closet work done. So it's all organized. So I'm kind of anal like that. And this one half of my closet is all black.
Yeah.
The whole half is all black. And then the other half is my color side. And I've noticed in the pandemic, I'm going to the color side, right? Because I wanted to get something happy going. So
I just read another article that now that we're coming out of the haze, right? I call it PC, post-COVID or pre-COVID. And bold colors are everywhere on the runways this season, and big patterns, because we're trying to fill the space, whether it's out in public or you're it's almost like the cocooning, you're coming out again, and we just want to bring in all of the happy. And I'm seeing that in the fashion trends that's coming into the shop. It's like there's a lot of color out there. So I'm thrilled. Bring it on, because it's fantastic. And so being able to teach clients how to work with patterns too. So I'm ecstatic for the next couple of years in fashion to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm pretty adventurous. Like, I'll try anything. I'm like, I don't care, right? I mean, it's fun to experiment with what you're wearing.
It is.
So we only have a few minutes left. So I just want to know, what's the biggest faux pas you see entrepreneurs do when it comes to color or dress? What's the number one, if you were to look back and go, man, that's just a doozy? We have one thing that you could say, don't
dummy it down. Don't undervalue your value of being in that space. You deserve to be you. You deserve to be the entrepreneur that you're aiming to be. So, elevate yourself. I had a client go, okay, I'm going to a construction dinner party. What do I wear? I said, why are you looking for a flannel and a pair of jeans? Do you? That's where, you have to value yourself at all times, because when you do, everybody else will recognize that and want to do business with you and want to help you thrive and get there. So just respect yourself that you're trying to do this for you and your family, or whatever that looks like. Don't dummy it down. Elevate your style and be you all the time, authentically, because you deserve to be in that space.
And that's that authenticity. Don't be something you're not. Well, I'm going to put your website in there in the chat right now so everyone can see it. How would they engage with you? So if they go to your website, I know you have a pretty neat little offer there. How would they get some more information or learn how to work with you?
Yeah, thank you. When they go to my website, they can poke around and see some of the work that I do, but there's get more information, and you can have a free 15-minute chat with me about what color analysis looks like for them, whether it's personal, professional, or to tie it in together. I would love to, help anybody out there, bring a little pop of color into their day. So
into their box.
Into their box, exactly, into this global square. So yeah, just go out there and put a pop of color in it. And I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Great. Well, you are delightful, Shirley. Thank you so much for being here, all the way zooming in from the East Coast. I love it, from Connecticut. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody, that was another great show of On the Fly with Kai. And please do reach out to Shirley. She's got some fantastic ideas and ways to help you up-level your color game as an entrepreneur. And we meet here Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, all time zones in between, for tips, tricks, and hacks for the entrepreneur. So thank you so much for another great broadcast and a great show. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Shirley.
Thank you. It was great.